Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/idontworkherelady, where people tell us their craziest stories on when they got mistaken for being an employee at somewhere they didn't work. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax and enjoy some Reddit stories. Woman threatens to have me fired from a store I don't work at. For some context, I work at a pretty popular grocery store in the Midwest that's based out of Iowa. Now, when I say popular, I mean popular. The town I lived in voted this grocery store as the best grocery store in the county for the third year in a row, and this store opened in 2015. My uniform consisted of a red polo with the company name embroidered in white, black dress pants and black shoes. Now to the story. This happened last night. I had just gotten off work, was still in my work uniform on my way home, when I realized I forgot to get groceries after I clocked out. Instead of turning around and going back to the store, I decided to stop by Walmart since it was on the way back to my apartment and I only needed two things. I go into Walmart, pretty tired from my 9-hour shift. I work in a floral department, and since it's homecoming season, I spent my entire shift wrapping flowers and making corsages, and all that fun stuff. It was very busy that day. And go to look for some bread to make French toast in the morning. I'm standing in front of the bakery, looking for the right type of bread for a few minutes, when I felt a tap on my shoulder and someone sighing heavily. When I turned around, I saw her, Karen. She had the haircut, the makeup, the everything. "Can I help you?" "I've been standing here for minutes, waiting for you to help me, and you're just looking at bread. You are terrible at your job. Now, help me find the toilet paper." "Ma'am, I don't work here. I work at a different store down the road. I'm just a customer." Karen pauses for a second and looks at my shirt before huffing in my direction. "You're lying. That store would never have someone like you working for them. Take me to the toilet paper now." At this point, I'm starting to lose my patience. It's been a long day and I really did not want to deal with her attitude. "Ma'am, if I did work here, why would I be wearing the uniform of their #1 competitor in town?" "So you can get away with being a piece of lazy trash at work, but I won't stand for that. I'm getting your manager." "Whatever, lady." Karen storms off with her car and I carry on with my shopping. I grab the bread I needed and a gallon of milk. I'm about to go to the checkout lane when I see Karen come barreling towards me with a manager in tow. "Her! That is the worker who is being very rude and isn't doing her job. Fire her." The manager gives me a confused look, noticing my polo that has the company name of the store I work at. "Ma'am, this girl doesn't work here. I've never seen her before and I know all the workers on my night crew. And it's pretty obvious that she doesn't work here, considering she has a polo for another grocery store." "You both are liars. Is this how you treat your paying customer? I'm never shopping here again." The wild Karen storms off and the manager apologizes to me for the trouble, and ended up giving my 2 groceries to me for free, considering what just happened. The only reason I'm posting this now is because this morning, before I went to my college class, I stopped by my store to cash a check at customer service, and I told my coworker about the story. The best part about this story? I had a feeling in my gut and asked to see the list of banned customers from our store. Guess whose picture was at the top of the list? Karen. Apparently, there were 3 recorded times where she left carts of frozen or cold products in front of the restaurant connected to the store, containing hundreds of dollars worth of product for hours, and then just left the store without paying for it. I'm talking about expensive steaks, crab legs, lobster, large cheesecakes, milk, etc. All of this product had to be thrown away because it was no longer safe for consumption. After the third time of this happening, she was banned from my store. I guess I'm lucky. Even though she knows where I work, she can't legally enter the store. Alright, I'm taking bets on how long it'll take her to actually get banned from the Walmart as well. She's gonna do the exact same thing and she's gonna get banned from everywhere. I haven't worked here in 20 years. I can't help you. Over the weekend, I visited my old neighborhood, about a 2-hour trip. I said hello to friends, family, etc. I then decided to walk over to a retail store where I had my first job, in 1999. I was a stock boy about 21, I'm 40 now. The small store has changed here and there. New management, new sales girls here and there, and so forth. I wasn't expecting anyone to recognize me, but sure enough, someone did, and we gave each other a big hug. She's an older lady in her 60s or so, a real sweetheart. We were catching up while she was tending to the ladies section, occasionally grabbing items from an open box and hanging them on hangers. I noticed after the second time of her walking too far to where the box was put down by an actual employee. I said, "Oh here, let me bring that closer, dear." I picked up the box and brought it over to her. She thanked me and we continued to chat. Until a couple around the same age as the sales lady I'd been catching up with start asking me questions about items in the men's section. I could clearly see that the men's section had changed significantly over the years. Different brand names and such from what I used to inventory 20 years ago. I was not familiar with these brands or designs or whatever. Before I could even speak, my friend, the sales lady, chimes in. "Oh, miss, he doesn't work here." The customer lady says, "Oh, isn't he one of the managers? I saw you two talking and he was helping you." "Ma'am, I haven't worked here in 20 years. I couldn't possibly help." I then turned to the sales lady. "Is the old manager around tonight?" "Oh no, my love. He hasn't worked here in 4 years. Our manager is a guy I've never heard of." "Oh, wow. Okay. I'm scanning the store." I then lock eyes with the sales girl in the men's section. I turn to the sales lady friend. "Hey, wait a minute. Is that Karen?" Yes, there was a sales girl named Karen. I knew her when she first started the job almost a year after I did. She was a teenager then, so by now had to be in her early to mid-30s. Very attractive blonde, not at all like the evil Karens you read about in other subs. Me to the customer lady, "See that gal over there? She can help you find what you need." Karen saw I was pointing to her. I wave, but I found out later that she doesn't quite remember me, but we had a nice 2-minute awkward chat, lol. The lady customer looks over at Karen and turns to me and says, "Okay, thank you. Are you sure you don't work here?" I chuckle a bit and respond, "I'm positive." That sales lady and I worked together a very long time ago. We were just catching up, that's all. The couple walks away and the sales lady and I face each other. "Honey, I'm sorry about that." "Ha, it's okay, that could have turned out a lot worse." "What do you mean?" I pull out my phone and load up the Reddit app and reply with, "There's a little something I want to read to ya." The next few minutes of breezing through a few I don't work here lady stories got a few "oh my goodness" and "what a crazy" out of my dear old friend. It was getting close to closing time, so I gave the sales lady a hug and a kiss and left the old store in more capable hands. Wait, what? A wholesome story with a Karen in it as well? Times are changing, I'm telling you. She doesn't work here, but I do. I'm a bartender at a small restaurant. Some hobby nonsense of an old boomer couple, but it keeps the lights on and it's been getting better for a while. It's near the end of the night, around 1:15. The place is dead. We have one regular, but nobody else. Most of the staff are looking busy or goofing off. One girl's standing up front, and her little sister's shown up to hang out with her a bit and get some food. She's given her order to her sister up front, but she hasn't sat down. She's just by the front entrance because reasons. She wanted her food directly in a box. We don't normally do that, but the employees sometimes take a meal home like that. The actual employee there ducks into the kitchen once they finish their conversation, like she couldn't bear to talk to her sister for one more second, and she's gone quite a while. Then they show up, 45 minutes before we close. Of course, why would they ever not? See, we have these two regulars, an old boomer couple, we just call him and her, or equivalent, that are extremely awful to deal with. They don't show up often, but they look for any excuse to complain because the husband used to be the owner's pastor, and both the owner and his wife think the world of them. Read, they treat their staff like slaves, get free food half the time, and never tip. So, of course, they walk right past the girl, sit down and glare at her. She kinda shrugs back, and he gawks for a moment before telling her to get a move on, you aren't off yet. I didn't hear what she said to her husband, but I'm guessing something about kids these days. All the young teenager up front did was look around, confused. He repeated himself. You, are you high? Get our menus. And she did it. She made that mistake. She got their menus and then told them, I don't work here, I'm just waiting for my order. Of course, she didn't believe her. Don't give me that, I see you serving here all the time. I start making my way over, but the girl tries to explain. No, my sister works here, I'm 14. He rolls his eyes. Not your sister, you. I'm not blind. I know owner's wife left early today, but you can't weasel your way out of serving us. So, if the 14 and 19-year-old look alike, to who is that a compliment, and to who is that an insult? This is when I arrive, getting scowls from both of them. They really don't like me. Excuse me, this is waitress name's little sister. Her big sister is in the kitchen right now getting her order, and will not be serving you tonight. I was adamant about that. The way they'd treated her before was unacceptable, and if I had my way, they'd never be back. One of the other servers should be able to take your order though. Quickly, a waiter does arrive and take their order, having apparently just noticed what's happening up front. But while he was ordering, she was being herself. Why do you keep defending her? She's lazy and can't do her job. I don't get a chance to answer, but 1, this is not the same girl, 2, you're unacceptably awful to the girl you're thinking of, and 3, I hate you. About this point, the girl's sister shows up with her box and quickly hauls her away from them. I was disappointed she was only confused, not embarrassed. She might be incapable of feeling shame. I look her dead in the eyes and tell her, have a nice meal, bar's closed due to excess paperwork. I then went to play solitaire. I had no paperwork left, there wasn't much to begin with. I just was not willing to serve them if I could avoid it. They eat and leave with no further incident. Not 5 minutes before we closed, several staff members had to stay late because of them, and so did I to help out a bit and lock the place up. That's all. Right, what I want to know is, it was 1:15 AM I presume because it said it's near the end of the night, but what kind of person goes for a meal at 1:15? I don't understand. Is that a thing that actually happens? Or is this just like really weird? Old guy at supermarket asks me where the baby shampoo is. So this just happened today. I was leaving work and needing a few things, so I went to the supermarket. I'm in the shampoo aisle with my cart of goodies, and I'm looking for the shampoo I use. There's an older man there, about in his 60s, also looking. I grab a can of shaving cream I'm needing as well, before he asks if I know where the baby shampoo is. I tell him I don't, but he might want to try Walmart in their baby section. He tells me he can't seem to find it and he needs it for his dog. I'm a dog groomer, so my ears perk up. For your dog? Yes, the vet said I should try it. Does she have dry skin or something? No, I just like to keep her clean and give her baths. She likes baths. You know that can dry out her skin. Yes, that's why the vet said baby shampoo. Okay, so we've come full circle. I tell him again I don't know about here, but Walmart should have it in their baby section. I then tell him I don't know much about human shampoos, but I know a bit about dog shampoos as I'm a dog groomer. He looks surprised and we start talking about his dog and my dog. He says he takes her to a nearby park, and she is small, so she'll stop to smell where all the other dogs have peed on the side of the paths, and get all messy with pee on her feet and legs. I tell him he might want to try dog wipes or baby wet wipes, and use those for a quick wipe down to get the pee off, and that it worked for my old dog when she would pee on herself. We then showed each other pictures of our dogs, and then started to talk about where I work. And he also asks me if I know anything about hawks flying off with dogs. I tell him it's only the really super small dogs like Chihuahuas, Yorkies, and Maltese that would be able to be lifted off the ground. He had a Min Pin, pretty good size, 13 pounds. He then tells me he would feel so awful if it happened to her, so he stands outside for her to finish going potty. He then says she's the only family he has left. His wife passed away last December from a very serious illness that cost him 24/7 care for her. He said everything else around him started falling apart, like his house. He needs to get it fixed up, it's just him and his dog. I said I'm sorry and started feeling bad for him. I told him he reminded me a lot of my grandpa, in looks and his mannerism. He then joked and was like, "How old is that?" I told him he was in his 60s, and he was like, "Oh good, I was hoping you wouldn't say 70s. I then told him my grandpa plays poker, and if he did, he only plays it online, not in person, so it probably wouldn't suit him. I then tell him he also owns property and fixes it up for residents, and that's when he tells me about the state of his house. He goes on to say retirement has him getting quite bored from owning a business, to do nothing. I tell him that's how my grandpa was too with owning computer stores, to then retiring and not feeling it, so he started buying and renting out property. He understood that. At this point, I'm just trying to get him a social life with people his own age. Don't know if my grandpa would be too keen on it, but if the guy played poker IRL, then maybe a new poker buddy. After talking for quite a bit in this tiny aisle with everyone going around us, sorry people, he then says that he has to buy dog food shortly, and his vet told him a brand. I tell him to be careful, as some brands people are finding bugs in them when they open, and maybe a wet dog food would be better than the bags. He was shocked but thanked me for the warning, and then said if he sees me he'll say hi. He gave me his name and I gave him mine. He then asks if maybe sometime I want to go get coffee and just chat. I'm a bit hesitant, mostly because I don't drink coffee, and he sees this and goes, "Of course you don't have to, I'm sure you're busy with your boyfriend." I just laugh and tell him no. We then part ways and I start thinking to myself, he's just lonely. He has no family left and it's just him and his dog. I'm probably one of the only few people he's had an actual conversation with in a while. It then reminded me of retirement homes that my great-grandpa was in before he passed. We would all constantly go over to visit him. My family told me that the old folks in homes like this a lot of the times, their families will just put them here and forget about them. That makes me sad to think about. It made me sad to think about this old guy has no one left and is just all alone with his dog as his only companion. I wouldn't mind taking him up on his offer if it just meant he needed human company for a bit. So yeah, not a horrible story, just a sad one, and it all started with someone asking if I knew where the baby shampoo was. I feel so bad for that guy. I really want them to meet up and then bring the grandpa along. Even if they don't get along, maybe their grandpa has more friends that they could introduce them to and everything. Just kind of give them a social life, you know? Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now, or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like. And if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.